Nightwing 113, legacy number 300. Tom Taylor writing with Danielle Di Nicolò, Bruno Redondo. And there was more names on the cover, although on Leah
Mm-hmm.
Comic Geeks only had those two listed for art. But we'll have a look and see. So yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I guess they're probably doing something kind of special for this, since it's a anniversary issue, specifically of Nightwing rather than Dick Grayson, which is why I think they went with the route of honoring the
Mm-hmm.
people who turned them into Nightwing directly
Mm-hmm.
later in the issues, which we'll get to. But Nightwing and the Robins, that being Tim and Damien, are dealing with these like smugglers and in Gotham, and they're like, yeah, this wasn't meant for here. It was meant for for Bloodhaven, sorry, but Bloodhaven's hard to get into right now, which later turns out to be because the pirate ship with
Because of B.
yeah,
Yeah, Captain Blood.
she's blocking people from getting into the thing. But the main story of this, outside of a few things that are building up the Heartless story,
Mm-hmm.
is that Dick's doing nice things for Oracle and like letting her sleep in, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and gets her some breakfast and whatnot. And she's like, "What is this? This is your day, Dick. Why you be?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not allowed to be mad that you're being extra nice to me because it's your stupid birthday."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yep." So yeah, this was just kind of fun. It was, it was nice and sweet. That
Because he pulls that card on Damien and Tim too.
yeah,
Because they're like, well, let us do stuff. He's like, no, this is what I want. So just, it's my day. You have to listen to me. And then it's the reveal that it's his birthday, and he's trying to do nice stuff for Babs and stuff too.
because she
Because
normally
he's selfless.
yeah, she normally won't let him. And the whole
Mm-hmm.
book starts off with people mistakenly think I love the spotlight because I'm from the
Yep.
circus. And it
Mm-hmm.
all builds up to, but I was never on my own in the spotlight. I was always
Mm-hmm.
with my parents. So even now, I prefer someone being there in the spotlight, which builds up
Mm-hmm.
to the big payoff that we don't know what it's building. I think I just thought it was a birthday party, but obviously as the issue
Yeah.
goes on, it becomes clear it's something more than that. And it's actually he's getting the key to the city at a presentation from the
Mm-hmm.
mayor because he is, because he's done all this stuff for the homeless people in the
Yep.
city. He's built these shelters. He's made the city a better place. And he pulls this swerve at the last second where he's like, "Oh yeah, it's not just me." And then like Jim Gordon pops up behind him and says, "Hey, I'll take the dog, Babs." And turns out Barbara's also getting the key to the city,
Mm-hmm.
and she's annoyed about it, but it's kind of sweet. It's a nice little thing. I enjoyed all these elements. Obviously, elsewhere you've got the build up of the main story stuff with
Heartless.
Heartless. Yeah, like seemingly he's building an army. Like these guns that were being brought to the city
Yeah.
seem to be him. He's got a logo now that he's sort of branding dead bodies with that he's
Mm-hmm.
murdering. So
And then they even mentioned too that it's weird because he goes from a serial killer to somebody that's smuggling in arms to build, to have urban warfare. And something doesn't check out, which I do like that they're picking up on that too.
yeah, for sure. So I mean, they are here is good, but you can tell it's not Redondo in a lot of it, and it did
Yeah,
it felt different stylistically for sure.
yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Like it's fine, but I don't know. It's a bit manga
It's a
heavy.
little, yeah, it's a little bit like that,
And
yeah.
I always hate using that as why I don't like it, because again, it comes down to taste. Because there's actually nothing wrong with the art. The layouts are fine. The expressions match where it need to. It's just, it's not my.
It does its job. It's just a lot more
Yeah.
pointy and angular than
Mm-hmm.
the Redondo would do it. So even though the
Yeah.
coloring feels like it's matching, it does feel a little bit different.
And
But
when you do get to the Redondo art
yeah,
towards
for
the
sure.
back, it sticks out.
Yeah, but that's quite late on. But I do like that when they're broadcasting this ceremony of them getting the keys, you get like a sort of page. There's a page with like 6 panels.
Mm-hmm.
One is Gordon in the crowd, basically saying, "Hey, we did a good job, didn't we, Bruce?" And Bruce is like, "Yeah, we did, Jim." Which does raise the question of how friendly Jim is with Bruce outside of being Batman. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about.
The only thing, if their kids are dating, they would definitely have hugged him.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
So
sense.
like I want you to meet my dad, and
Yeah, but
So-
you see the Birds of Prey reacting to it. You see the Kent family reacting. You
Mhm.
see Red Hood watching as he beats up a thug, and it's the this is like a very 80s thing, but the TV's in the store window have got it playing.
Yep.
The Titans are reacting, and then just for fun, the Imps are also reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Nightwing's awesome,
Yep.
as Nightmate says.
Yep.
So and he's like, hey, where do you want to go for dinner after? And they go to a pizza place because Dick's not fussy. He wants to go to a simple, nice pizza place that he likes, which happens to be called Marv and George's Pizza. And I have to admit, I was kind of tired when I read this, and it didn't click when I saw the name. It wasn't until the next page when he's talking to the owner, and like it's clearly Marv Wolfman, and then there's a photo of George Perez on the wall in the background.
So I was gonna say they've been here before because we pointed this out when he first opened
I'm not surprised
the Alfred Pennyworth, the Alfred Pennyworth Center. This is where they got the food from to feed everybody. So I do like that callback around that, this is where, yes, it's his day and he's celebrating him and Babs getting the key to the city, but he's also using it as an opportunity to help out others. And it's where we get Marv, that's very heartfelt, what Dick Grayson and Nightwing, what the character that they built.
Yeah. It's a sweet choice, especially the idea that George is passed away in the comic as well, so he's just on the wall. That kind of hit more than anything else, to be honest. It was like, oh, we're actually going to treat him as if he's passed away, because they could have just drawn him. Like, there's no reason why they couldn't have done that. But I just think it's an interesting choice. But so there's pizza. He talks about how all the people he's helped over the years, and gives them this speech. And says, oh, we're so proud of you, George was too. It's all very sweet. And then the ending is basically just Heartless, who looks a bit more dapper. He's got like a sort of cleaner mask, and he's like...
he looks kind of like... You remember Tiger Shark from... I think it was Tiger Shark, right? He's the guy that runs like the auction house. He was in the...
vaguely familiar.
The Snyder. Yeah. This is who he reminded me of. So I
He's leveled up. He's got like a white suit on now. And basically it's like, okay, Dick Grayson is now like at his possible happiest. Now's the time we're going to make him fall. So feels super menacing, and it's like I'm kind of glad they didn't like. I was kind of half worried that they were going to do a big shock thing at the end of this issue. Something bad was going to happen to Dick or someone else. And I'm glad they didn't and just teased it for later, because I felt like this is a celebration issue. We should just we should be able to enjoy it. I mean, tease that stuff's happening, because we're still doing a story. We still want to have a cliffhanger and make people excited for what's coming. But just let us enjoy the happiness. It's
definitely keeping the Daredevil vibes, right? Because it's definitely a Kingpin thing that we've seen, where how do you kill the man without fear? And you put the fear in him and all that stuff. This seems very much how do you rip someone's heart out and you build them up to the happiest they've been, and then take it all away, So and
he's been building an army by the sounds of it. So we'll see how that goes. Next issue is the start of the final arc.
Yeah. Don't like that, but change is scary. But we'll get through it.
It has been a 3-year run. By the time this is finished, it'll be 3 full years, which is not bad at all.
No.
So I'm curious to see like who gets Nightwing after Taylor, but I mean, for now we get to just enjoy the end of the ride.
Yeah, for sure.
And this Heartless stuff's been what it's been building to since the start. Like Heartless was introduced, I think, in his first issue.
The very first issue.
Yeah. So super exciting, and good stuff. Back up here as well. Worth mentioning, and just to confirm, it was just Redondo and Nicolo on the art in the main book. Yeah. And then Marv Wolfman did write presumably his own dialogue. Because he's just listed for pages 20 to 21.
Which I do like that he gets a credit in the 300th issue of the character he helped create, right? Because he didn't create Dick Grayson, but he definitely created Nightwing. So the fact that he gets to write the on the 300th issues.
That's what I was saying earlier. This is a celebration of Nightwing specifically, not Dick Grayson, right? This is 300 issues of Nightwing. Obviously, when we have an anniversary for Dick Grayson, celebrate his time as Robin, celebrate the entire run. But this is specifically that, hey, we've had 3 issues of this since 1996. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, cool. Back up. It was just ended up in a super quick read because there's no dialogue in it.
Yep.
It's basically just this action scene of Nightwing waiting for the subway to go past, and then he has to like run up the track and jump out of the train, and he's climbing on. They're going over a bridge. He dives into the train. There's a lot of motion lines, a lot of that stuff, and it's basically he fights a bunch of goons who are wearing kind of like mime makeup, all to the point where he finally gets to this bomb that's about to go off, and it's kind of like that moment in the first Captain America movie where Steve jumps on the grenade, where it's like it's too late to do anything, so he just like tries to cover it with his body, and then it doesn't go off, and it's just like, it's a relief, but it's like, like he was willing to sacrifice himself. So yeah, I will say I actually, Howard Porter can be hit and miss when he's not doing like Flash, but I actually thought this art was very good for what it was doing.
Yep, I was like, oh, this is definitely Howard Porter. All the motion, it's very kinetic.
Yep.
Kind of, this is the type of story that fits his skill set.
Yeah. The page where it's like Dick's at the front of the train, but the panels from inside the train looking at him coming through the window, and there's just all these like yellow speed lines outside the windows. I thought that looked very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. This is the sort of thing where I would not be opposed to Howard Porter. I wouldn't like him on Taylor's run on Nightwing because that's had such a distinct style. This would feel like too much of a shift. But if like he was the artist on like the next team, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
No, it was good. And for a second, it took me a second to realize it was Howard Porter, right? And once we got to the speed lines, it clicked. But yeah, so I think the style fits Dick pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. Nice layouts, nice sense of motion. It feels like a great action scene, and it's nice and simple. And I'm sure Michael Conrad, who wrote it, did contribute, but it feels like this is almost all they are doing the talking. So
you're just like, hey, look, we're gonna have him on a subway. Yeah, there's a bomb. It doesn't go off at the end. Do your thing.
I feel like his script for this might have been one paragraph.
Yeah,
just describing what the events were, and then Howard Porter just went and did it. But maybe maybe I'm not giving him enough credit, but it feels like that's all it needed to be. But nice and simple. All right, what are you giving Nightwing 300?
I'm gonna give this a solid. I won't say solid. I'll give it a 7.5.
7.5. I am definitely going a bit higher than that. I think obviously not been Redondo and most of the art does knock it down a little bit, but I still like the Key at the City stuff. I like the overall sentiment. I like the tease of what's coming. I like the backup. I'm tempted to go 8.5, but I think I'll just go 8. I'll just say 8. Okay. I think the art just kind of maybe knocks it down a little bit, but I did like it. I thought it was a nice, sweet issue 300 as a milestone issue. It felt like a nice, It felt like a nice look at the character that feels like it fits where we are now with the character, as opposed to, we're going to shoehorn in a bunch of references to a bunch of old stuff, even though it's not been relevant to what he's been doing. They didn't do that, which is nice. So, cool. And I think that page showing you everyone reacting to it in TV, it just kind of shows, here's all the different groups of people in the DC universe that all care about Dick Grayson. It's a nice summary.
Well, I like they included the Kents too, because his relationship with John, but also with Clark. That was a nice little,